Hey, Mike with Mike's Bags, and today I am reviewing the Moshpits by NFQ Cornhole. If you've been with me for a while, you might remember I reviewed the A-Walls by NFQ a while back. Absolutely love that bag, phenomenal bag. This is the second bag by NFQ that I've reviewed. This is actually their most recent release. So let's go ahead and jump into the review of these Moshpits. Start with the slow sides material. This is very similar, but not exactly the same as that Viper R carpet. This is actually the same material that was on the Brotherhood Cornhole Guardian bag I reviewed recently. It feels like that R carpet. It plays like it. It looks very similar to it, but it's not quite the same. Now, from my understanding, the R carpet has been discontinued. I don't know how much of it is still available. This may be the new R carpet eventually. I don't know, but this is as close as I've seen to that without being the same thing. Anyway, it's a 5-speed material. It's a fun material. It's very hole friendly. It's very controllable. It's very versatile. You can do a lot with it. I actually love the way this material plays. I think you will too. So 5-speed on the slow side. Fast side of this bag is the Viking Pro Advantage fast side. It's that 7-speed material. It's fast but controllable. It's very hole friendly. It's a wonderful material. I actually really like this as a fast side material, especially when it paired with this 5-7-speed bag. This is a wonderful combination. I'll get more into that playability why I like this, but it's a perfect combination, I think, for this bag. I love it. The template on this is a medium template, you know, kind of you're right down the middle on the template size. It's a fairly full bag. You know, it's got some flop, not a lot of flop to it, right? So you've got a decent amount of fill in here. The fill is a mixed fill. It's mostly the small beads in there, but I do feel some flat fill every now and then in there, so it's a good mix in there. But it plays. Here's the advantage of mixed fill, and what I love about this bag really is using the small beads. Is when I grab it in my hand feel, I couldn't tell you it's a mixed fill. I couldn't tell there in beads. It feels very fluid, very nice. Feels a lot like that flat disc fill. But by having those beads in there, you get more movement, more activity, it makes it easier to shape shots. Plus, around the hole, the bag's a little more hole friendly. It just wants to drip in the hole a little better. It doesn't tend to hang on the hole as much as sometimes that flat disc does. So I love the fill in here, whatever mix they're doing. I love the way it plays. It really fits my style of game perfectly. Absolutely love it. So in fact, let's go ahead and jump into playability on these Moshpits. And it's a very versatile bag. You can go hole for hole with it. You can run bags in the hole, which you see me do a lot of here in these videos. I'm just going hole for hole, putting them in. Bags are very hole friendly. You get them up there if they can grab. You get them started in the hole. They're going to drop at enough speed. One of the negatives, and I'm going to nitpick here for a moment. In fact, I'm going to give you a couple negatives. I'm nitpicking, so bear with me. Don't hear what I'm not saying on this. But because this is a fuller bag, it's maybe not as forgiving around the hole. Typically, your larger, floppier bags, the ones that have that wider landing zone, and you just get them to grab a corner of the hole, they're going to come back in. Being a fuller bag, I did find from time to time that if I was a little further off to the left or right, that corner may not dip in. It may have just skipped over, or if it dipped in, it wasn't enough to pull the bag back. It was enough to grab the bag and hold it, but not pull it back in for you. And that's kind of the trade-off you get from getting a fuller bag. However, the benefits of the fuller bag, which we're getting to in a moment, I think outweigh that a little bit. So it's not really a negative to be, this is not a reason, this reason not to get the bag. Just be aware that when you get a fuller bag, you kind of lose some of that forgiveness. The other thing I'll say is this bag does have a little bit of a kick to it. Not significant, not drastic. It has a little bit of a kick. In fact, I found with a little bit of a tilt one way or the other, I didn't really notice the kick. But as I got a little more lean in the bag, it did want to kick a little more. Some of that has to do with a lot of it is with the fill. It's a little more of an active fill, more of a bouncy fill. Now, that kick also leads to the bag being very cuttable. Like this was a bag I could really control. I could really throw cuts with. I could shape shots really well on it. You know, the movement, the bounciness of the bag made it very easy. It can be a very easy bag. It's very easy to roll flop for you roll bag throwers. You know, you just average it on up. You can roll this bag no problem whatsoever. It's got a lot of movement, a lot of bounce to it naturally. I found it was even good for me when I had blockers up there that I could do that little hop. I like to play more of it. Instead of a roll, I can play a little hop over the corner of their bags. When an opponent throws a blocker up there, and especially if we got that V block, I'll step out a little bit and land just a few inches behind that corner and let the bag hit and just hop and skip right over and put my bag in and leave their blocker right there and make them collect it. And I was able to do it both sides really well with this bag. I didn't really do much in the videos here because this bag really shined better for me in competition. It shows really well here in these videos. Like you see a lot of bags going in the hole. I had a lot of fun throwing it on open boards, but it really stands out in competition. The shot shape you can do, the cutability, the hopping over, the rolling, the flopping, all that stuff is wonderful. And this bag is definitely a controllable bag to where you can throw blockers up there, right? You can put those blockers up. I can control bags and put them anywhere I want on the board, which is what I absolutely love about it. And the fullness, the advantage of the fullness. So you lose a little bit of that hole forgiveness, the forgiveness around the hole with the fullness, but what you gain is the collectability. This bag was so easy to collect. I could put a block really far over, get really aggressive on my opponent's side, and then know my bag I wanted to collect. A lot of times I would collect slow side because these bags are so forgiving, so hole friendly. Come and I just clip the corner and take both bags in. I could flip it over if I wanted to. If I needed to really push through a little further up the board, I could come through and push and go further up the board. If I wanted to make sure it was my fourth bag and follow through, I would make sure I flip it over, and that fast side would just push the blocker in and follow right in with no problem whatsoever. I do like, I mentioned I like this fast side pairing and slow side, and the reason I do that, I like it so much, is because this slow side is not super sticky. It's not going to hang up on the hole. It doesn't take much to push, so you don't really need like a crazy fast side with this bag. Because the problem with those crazy fast sides is if you miss your push, right, you have a blocker up there and you go to push and you miss a little bit off and the bag wants to kick and spin, what happens is the bag slides off and usually flies off the back of the board and you're penalized for it. With this material, if you happen to miss a little bit, the bag is a good chance it's still going to stay on the board. It's not going to go flying off, so it's still very controllable. And I didn't really have a problem. Even when I had a few bags that were short, like I threw a short block and I wanted, or I hit the dead spot and it didn't go up as far as I wanted to, I didn't have a problem catching the bag, riding it up, and either pushing it in or leaving it in front of the hole where I could collect my next bag. So to me, this is all the speed I need to collect this type of material. I don't really need to go crazy fast. In fact, for me, if you remember when I reviewed the Widow R, the Viper Rs, I was really looking for that Widow R type bag, and I was a little disappointed in the Widow R. I didn't like what Ultra did with that bag. This is what I wanted the Widow R to be. This is the bag I was hoping Ultra designed, and NFQ has actually come out with it. I love this bag. It just fits my play style. I love the versatility of it because, I can go one round, go hole for hole. In fact, like when I was playing it in competition, if I had first bag, I was a little more aggressive with blockers and play a dirty style game. If I had second bag, if my partner went in, I would go in. I would just match them shot for shot until they missed. Then I would throw a blocker if it wasn't my last bag, throw a blocker and then try to penalize them even more and make them work to try to get caught back up or try to minimize their losses on it. And this is the type of bag you can do that with, right? I can play however I want to play with it and not have to really change my throw that much or change my style match. I absolutely love it. It's also a wonderful bag for blind draws because this fast side is the slow side of a lot of fast bags out there. So if you're a slow bag thrower and you get a partner who's a fast bag thrower, you can pull this bag out. You can throw the slow side and you can do your control, you can do your dirty style game all you want. They can flip it over and they can just go hole for hole with the fast side and not have a problem, not have to change the throw because they're used to this type of material. So wonderful, very versatile, wonderful for blind draws. It's wonderful for, it's great. It's kind of a great for all around bag for all player types. I highly recommend a lot of you I challenge you to get these bags. You find it here in a minute on price that they're very affordable. One of the cheaper bags you're out there. You can't go wrong with this. I love this bag. I do recommend you guys check out the Moshpits. Now, we'll jump into availability. NFQ does their business on Facebook. I'll put a link down in the description for their Facebook page. They just recently released these bags. When they did, I don't know. I didn't look. I didn't look to see if they're still available. You'll have to message NFQ to see if they've got a set in stock. But if they don't, I'm sure they can get you a set pretty quickly. And they were $65 shipped at release. $65 shipped for a set of bags is crazy right now in this day and age. It's over half the price of the Widow R's from Ultra. So I highly recommend checking these out. For $65, you can't go wrong. I think you're going to love them as much as I did. The one knock maybe for some of you guys is they are not ACL stamped. They don't have stamp at all. So if you play an ACL event and you don't have an option or an opportunity to play in non-ACL events, and maybe that's the one group of you that maybe wouldn't be interested. But if you play in even ACO for the rest of this year, or you play in local leagues or local events that don't require a stamp, this is a wonderful bag. I think you want to have in your arsenal. It's very versatile. I think you're going to love it as much as I do. For those of you who throw in the mosh pits, I'd love to hear your feedback on what you think of them, as well as some other bags from NFQ that you guys like. I always love hearing your opinions, so drop them comments down below. I look forward to those, and I thank you guys so much for support, and I thank you for watching.